Hello my friends, 3KO Games here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video. I did a little sneak peek at the Soul Exchange just yesterday, and we had the 10 Soul Heroes released. I was thinking that we would do, a couple heroes each day, and they would leak a couple more, but now the whole list is out. So I don't know what to do with the with the other video. I think I'm going to continue with that streak. So I did 10 souls yesterday. Today, I'm just going to talk about the 15 soul row. I will do a third video for the 20 soul row, and then as we get closer, I will do some more thinking about just really like my ranking on the whole list. So that's my plan. I don't have some of the content creators have already put out a bigger ranking video on everybody. I just don't have time right now, but I want to get the info out to you now. So anyway, we are talking about this 15 soul list. That's the Construct family healer, Carta. That is the Stag family from Clash of Knights, Alvar. That is the Sniper from the Opera family, Daroga. It is one of the first Astral Elves, Sparklight, and it is the big hitter and weird guy that does stuff with buff dispellers and stuff from the Champions family, Satori. Let's talk about these heroes, everybody. Carta, first, is a great healer. And again, I said this yesterday, and I say this every Soul Exchange. A good healer can last. Low stats are always a problem, right? But you don't need crazy high attack stats from a healer. You just need their special skill to heal and do what they say they're going to do. Survivability, yeah. So you have to go all defense and health. You got to get some emblems on this guy. You got to get some limit breaks on this guy. And yeah, maybe he doesn't stand up as long as another more recent healer does, but if you need a good healer in purple, he's not a bad choice. 45% health for all allies, which is good. Plus, you get that healing construct core, which will heal for even more. I think it's up to 20% more or 25% more. I mean, so we're talking about a heal that could even get rid of some mega fiends. Possibly, if the core is charged all the way. Lifts the latest cleansable status ailment from all allies and distributes them. So not cleansing all status ailments, but at least one and throwing them right back on the enemies. That's pretty nice. And then all allies get plus 24% mana generation for 3 turns. If you're willing to work with slightly lower stats, this healer does good things. He was kind of overlooked when they first came out, but not a bad card at all. Alvar, a yellow sorcerer from the Stag family in Clash of Knights. So he does 350% damage to all enemies, but I'm not really concerned about that. And of course, like I've said before too, hitters, their attack stat is going to get lower and lower relatively as the power creep keeps getting higher and higher. But the other part of his special is really good. And by the way, his team power at 1084 is one of the highest in this Soul Exchange. But the rest of his special skill lifts all cleansable status ailments from all allies and randomly distributes them on enemies. Carta was 1. Alvar is all of them. So that's how we start the skill. Then duration of status ailments is reset for all enemies. So if you already gave them status ailments, they're reset. Or if you had status ailments on you and they only had like 1 turn left, when Alvar lifts them and gives them to the enemies, they're totally refreshed for the full duration. Okay, so then we hit for 350% damage to all enemies. That's going to be okay. And what you can't see on this card here is that Any buffs that the enemies try to give themselves for the next 4 turns are also going to be randomly reflected to you, to your team. So he's dealing with ailments and buffs. It's a good card. I feel like this is another hero that was kind of overlooked when he first came out. But a good hero. Top contender for 15 souls. Daroga, sniper from Phantom of the Opera family. Fast speed hits 1, 485% damage, and then that target gets bleed damage. It spreads to nearby enemies. So that's nice, but only for 3 turns, so that spread is not going to hit them quite as hard. Allies get a plus 25% attack stack. Pretty good. Again, mostly a hitter. And eventually, he will play well for if you are earlier in the game, even somewhere in the middle in the game, and then eventually you'll find that he just doesn't hit as hard as you thought he did. So that's your risk about any hitter from Soul Exchange. Sparklight was the first astral elf, along with Starwalker. He was really tough at first, but you can see the stats are a little low. 977 team power. He hits target nearby for 430% damage. Then they get burn damage. Caster and all their allies absorb 45% of that burn damage as boosted health. And then any buffs that the enemy team tries to get, they actually give to you instead for 3 turns, 4 turns, or something like that. So, I think Alvar does it better because it's got the buffs and the ailments. This is an okay hit. That's Sparklight. Satori from the Champions family, there's that huge list of passives, which makes it interesting. He keeps boosting his health from stuff, and if you try to give him a mana generation down, like the Moth Dust, he's actually going to give himself a 30% mana generation increase. So that's nice. 982 team power, 275% damage to all enemies, plus 550% damage to anybody who cleanses or dispels using special skills. Then caster nearby have a 50% chance to drop any received damage to 1 for 4 turns. If that is dispelled, then it actually just dispels all the buffs from the enemy team. He's an interesting character. He was really tough when he first came out. Because of power creep and everything, he's just not quite as strong anymore. Obviously, the weird things he does about cleansers and dispellers is still interesting. It's just a little tricky to control, and then relatively that damage is just not going to be as high. So what do I think? These are the 5 heroes on the 15 soul row. If you need a healer, Carta is, the only choice here. I guess Sparklight heals you a little bit, but he's a pretty good healer. I think overall, your best bet for the money is Alvar, dealing with ailments, dealing with buffs, and then hitting a little bit. Those are my quick thoughts about the 15 soul row. I'll be back again soon with the 20 soul row, and then a little bit later with a larger just ranking thoughts about the whole Soul Exchange list. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.